welcome to Reading with Eve, and let's get on with the bookish video. Today we're having one of the quick fire ones where it's themed recommendations based on a trope, a setting, a subgenre, whatever. So today we are looking at 5 more haunted house, place, people, whatever book recommendations. Interestingly enough, apart from one, I gave all of these books like 3 or like a 3.5. There's one 4 in there because I didn't particularly like love any of them at a level where it would be an all-time favorite, but they are fitting with the trope, with the subgenre, so I'm gonna include them in this video because that's my main caveat for these themed recommendations. It doesn't have to be a 5-star favorite. So without any further ado, let's talk about the 5 books. So the first one is Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. This is, well, of course, a haunted house book about 4 horror writers who get invited to one of the most haunted houses in America on Halloween to have this exclusive interview about their work and everything. And of course, it goes horribly wrong. This one I gave a 3 because the second half, well, I mean, I did put it in my wrap-up, but that was like in 2023, I think. So basically, it got a bit too Stephen King for me in a bad way. Like, I was reading some stuff and I was like, this is Stephen Kingism, not in a way that I enjoy. So yeah, it got a bit, but I do admire the originality that this book presented in the sense of what is a haunted house. Like, the concept in itself, it was very, like, the way that the story went, it was different, and it shows different ways that you can be haunted if you step foot on a property that is haunted. You know, you drink, based on how many times I say the word haunted in this video, but yeah, it's very, like, it is unique. But ultimately some things didn't work for me and I thought it was a bit too long. But if you're looking for that features writers and talks about the horror genre in itself with a little bit of a meta thing, stuff that goes into places you wouldn't necessarily expect, then do pick this one up. Then I have Hex by Thomas Oswell, I think. It's really hard to remember the exact name of the author without looking at the cover. And I can't Google it because I'm filming on my phone, yay. Anyway, so this is about a small town that the whole town is haunted by a ghost of a witch that was burned like 300 years ago. And the thing is, people in this town, they are very accustomed to this haunting to the point where they're living alongside it. They have a whole system, they have surveillance, they have a lot of things sort of fine-tuned to coexist with it. Except that, of course, they still need to, what's the word for it? They need to lure people in to keep having people there to appease the haunting, but the catch is that they can't tell this person the whole thing. So they kind of have to move there without their informed consent, sort of thing. And if you go, I don't know, like, I think it was like a week or something without being in the town, like in that parameter, then you are going to start having thoughts about ending your life. So yeah, it is a dark book, because the whole, like, pivotal point is that the teenagers of the town had enough and they want to expose this to the world. Enough is enough. We want to live our lives. We want to move away. We want to have relationships outside of this, like, little incestuous feeling scenario. So yeah, they try to broadcast it to the world, but it goes horribly wrong. I think I gave it a 4 because the last third didn't go where I necessarily would have liked it to go. It was really dark and really messed up, but I just kept losing sympathy for the characters as the novel went on. But up to that point, it did keep me going and it really surprised me in certain ways. There is animal cruelty in the book, so just keep that, like, be informed about that. It is quite descriptive. It's only, I think it's one instance, and it's like a couple of paragraphs, but they are descriptive. And in terms of the haunting itself, I do think it's definitely an interesting take on it. A take that wouldn't necessarily work for everyone. It's not your traditional ghost in the house sort of thing, but that's good. We are putting different twists and spins on this subgenre that's probably like one of the oldest horror gothic genres in the history of literature. So I do think it's very beneficial to keep that ball rolling and thinking of new ways. But like I said, it was just a bit too dark and depressing for me by the end to, like, I expected something a little different. So that's that one. And then I have House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. This is about a single mother. I think her name was Harper. She takes on a job as a cleaner at a former movie director's home because she needs money, and she thinks that there's something not quite right with this home because she thinks that the costumes are coming to life. It sounds a bit ridiculous, but it's, again, it's so much more than just a story about a haunted house. It's about single motherhood, about protecting your family, about kind of establishing your place in the society that judges you at all times. I gave it a 3.5, I think, because I had I had some issues with the pacing a little bit, and ultimately I thought that there were creepy moments in terms of the haunting, and I liked the reveal, but I think it's one, if you're looking for something a bit more understated in terms of the haunting aspect, because it is more of an addition to a plot that's happening as opposed to a constant thing. And then I have Barrier Gaze by Chuck Tingle. It's about a writer who, he writes for TV, and he gets told that he has to kill off his 2 gay leads because gays can't be happy. You have to bury them. Get it? You know, the trope that people are rightfully pissed off about. That's still prevalent in today's TV. So he refuses to do it, and once he refuses, he starts being haunted by like creations and monsters from his writing, like from his books. So they start coming after him and his friends. And one of the scenes that's set on an airplane, it was really, really creepy. And like that definitely freaked me out a bit because I fly pretty frequently in comparison to some other people, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year. So yeah, it's very, but I think the case was, I really, really enjoyed the concept. I thought that I think gave it 3 stars, I think. The concept had a lot to offer, but the writing style kind of put me off. I just couldn't get invested in it. I just felt like it was a bit overwritten and trying to hammer your head with the commentary, and I think that the story would have been more organic without that. But it was still a decent book, and I still enjoyed it some amount, I think. Hence the 3-star. And then my last book, that is the 5-star off these recommendations, is Small Town Horror by Ronald Malfi. It features Andrew, who he's a lawyer with a heavily pregnant wife, and he gets called to come back to his hometown by one of his oldest friends to help with something important, and he doesn't want to, but this friend has something that he's holding over Andrew's head, something horrible they did 20 years ago with 3 other friends, and of course it comes out, but it's about a story about, you know, how far will you go to cover your tracks, you know, horrible things that you do when you're younger, that you don't understand the consequences for, you know, toxic friendships. There's a lot. It's a haunting in a lot of complex and intricate ways. And it's definitely not your traditional, like, a haunted house story, but it's a kind of like a traveling haunting. It haunts multiple places, it haunts multiple people. It's sad and it's dark, and it is bleak, but also it feels like, not in a sense of, oh, nothing matters, it's just, oh, let's be bleak for the sake of it. Like, there is a point to this darkness, and the bleakness. It's in a way, it's a tragedy. It's a tragic story, and so these are the 5 books that feature any form of haunting. Like I said, I have mixed opinions on some of them, but they fit the genre. A lot of them are quite newish, popularish releases. Nothing wrong with those. So yeah, if you read any of these, please do share your opinions. I will definitely dip into this trope more and probably have another video for you, I don't know, a year later or something like that. But yeah, so if you like this video, maybe subscribe. I would love to have you here, and I hope to see you next time.